Okay, welcome back, and let's look at the aces in Palm's oracle. The aces, when we think about it, if we think about it as a number one, as the number one in numerology, this is the individual. This is creative energy. This is personal success. These are things that you can expect to be successful with when you pull this card or when you end up with this card. It also will help you create success using the different elements if you're doing a manifestation or if you're doing ritual magic in some form. I'm going to start with the spades. I go through my suits: spades, hearts, clubs, diamonds, and I do that because I can remember them in that order, as spades have 1 point, hearts have two bumps, clubs have 3 petals, and diamonds have 4 sides. And it's just a way I've always worked with the cards in breaking them down. In terms of power, I think of them as all equally powerful. I know in a lot of games and things that's not the way, but that is the way I focus on the different elements and the different cards. The Ace of Spades, being a symbol of change, goes back a long way, and that was the first card that, when I was working with Lenormand, that didn't quite fit for me for the coffin. I think the coffin is the Queen of Spades, and that sort of makes this feminine correlation to death and change, and it always felt negative to me, and an archaic way of thinking, or sort of old school male focus way of thinking, and so it just never worked for me. I know some people do stand by that, but if you're working with this deck, just come along for the ride, and I'll explain. You'll understand why I attribute the symbols as I do. The Ace of Spades is the death card, and that in cartomancy has a very long history. There have been many times where it's used as a symbol for death in stories and films, throughout artistic expressions. It's been used that way. It's even was used that way by the United States government. There was a time when in one of the Gulf Wars where they would drop packs of cards in the cities that they were attacking, or attacking maybe is too wrong a word, but a strong word, but places where they needed a psychological effect. And I have one of these decks somewhere, and in the deck is only the Ace of Spades, so it's just the death deck. So this is a strong, potent symbol just on its own of the Ace of Spades, but we don't want to think of this as the end of life or as a negative fully. It can be, if you take it and don't take whatever is happening in your life as a time of positive change. If you're afraid of the change, and that's the way change works, is when you approach change with anxiety and fear, it causes negative time. It causes a struggle to get away from yourself, to get over yourself, really, to be able to experience that change. So this is sort of a warning card. It's a warning that change is coming, and if you don't open up to it, if you don't open up to the needed changes in your life, or the changes that are coming for you, it can lead to death. It can lead to a negative thing on a grand scale. It's also a time to, when you get this card, to look at the health of others in your life, to focus on positive change in health, positive change in life, the changes that you've been avoiding. Really, that's the best thing to look at. If you think of a spade as a spade, you can think of the spade as a shovel where which with you dig a grave. But also you can think of the air as a symbol of quick change. So Ace of Spades, coffin, transformation, change, can lead to negative time if you don't approach it with respect and open your arms to that possibility of change. Next, we have the Ace of Hearts. I really enjoyed drawing this one. It's one of the more symbolic focused cards, and I did the heart sort of in loose with that gold pattern around it, and um, that imagery, the way that I did this drawing, the personal side of this image, and I didn't actually talk about that on the Ace of Spades either. But when I look at that Ace of Spades, this to me is the ceremony of the lost loved ones, the loved ones that I've lost recently, and so I look at it in love and remembrance, and as a connection to my own ancestors. But the personal side to the Ace of Hearts, it is to a couple things. First of all, there's an artist out of Florida, where I originally grew up, in Dunedin, Florida, named Dennis Gaston. And while the image, when you look at his art, you'll say, well, that doesn't look like his art. But the way the pattern on the heart goes around, and the way he used to do illustrations was the original impetus and inspiration for the way I drew this. And then I went more graphic and sort of illustration textbook with the heart afterwards. But at the core of the Ace of Hearts is the symbol of emotional and creative and personal connections. The flow of energy, the flow of prana or spirit energy from the body. So it goes into an unconscious place. It goes into the deep vibrations of the heart. And so think of it in those terms. Think of it as the power towards your own heart, the power of love in itself, and how you can attribute that power to all things. This is a time of love. It's a time of celebration of love. And it's not about romantic or sexual love. It can be, but that's not where it centers. It centers in the love that you hold, and how that can help change you, how that can help have a positive effect on you. And next we have the Ace of Clubs, the fire element. And instead of doing fire, we go to the energy that allows us to create fire. And the energy that allows us to create fire is human knowledge, human wisdom. And we find that and pass it on through text, through books. And I know we often pass it on through movies and videos now, but the core of our ability to communicate magic is in word. The human ability to communicate in symbols is a magical ability in itself. And our ability to pass on our knowledge that way is something that doesn't exist with any other known species. So it's a very powerful human ability is to keep knowledge. Now the symbol of the book also can be a time to look at secrets, to look at new secrets to be found, to open yourself to new knowledge, to looking into things you can learn, more power you can gain through learning more. So a time of learning, a time of wisdom, although there will be a card that's particularly about gaining wisdom, and that's the Owl card. But this one is about learning and enriching and developing your knowledge. Knowledge is power. Fire is power. And finally, the Ace of Diamonds, which is the World card or the Earth card, which is sort of self-explanatory in that diamonds are the Earth sign. And so here you have the sun rising from a sort of space view of the Earth, but it's not, it's the Earth with the latitude and longitude lines. So it's the concept of the globe. And this card is about the power of seeing yourself as the part of the system of the whole globe, getting away from the individualistic view of yourself, getting away from your socio-political view of yourself, getting away from your nationalistic view of yourself, and seeing yourself as part of the world or universe. It's an open card. It's a positive card. It's a positive card for feeling one with all things. It's sort of a transitioning out of the ego time. I love the world and universe cards from tarot. This is taking a lot from that symbolism. For me, the image here is is important today, and part of the importance there is specifically seeing the Earth as a system and a globe. And the personal story of this is that I did meet some people who were teachers and believed in that the Earth was flat. And it's amazing to me that these were intelligent and well-spoken, and they debated well their concept of the Earth being flat, and this sort of reminder to both explore the knowledge you have and also to not be deceived by just don't be deceived, and be open to others as well. I mean, that was the struggle for me, was to remain respectful and to try to understand why it was that they were speaking to me about this and why they wanted to share that with me. And it was hard. It was hard because I wanted to just throw out and write them off. And sometimes there's important things to learn from practicing not writing people off. And so Ace of Diamonds, the Earth is the system, the satellite, the spaceship that we live in, and we need to care for it. We need to respect it. It's a card to remind us to go and be part of everything, be part of the system that we're in. So those are the aces. And if you think of diamonds, Earth has the Earth. Clubs are power of fire and knowledge. Knowledge is the book. Hearts are hearts. I mean, that's a pretty easy one. Ace of Hearts is the power of that emotional and spiritual connection to heart. And Ace of Spades is the death card. After watching this video, what I hope to achieve through these videos, and I do recommend you watch each and every one before you work with the deck. The booklet will be sort of a reminder of all these symbol sets and the knowledge here. But what my hope is that after watching these videos, and I recommend getting a little booklet and taking notes as you do, not because you need to reference those notes, but as you take the notes, you imagine you're writing that instead into the paper, into your brain. If you take notes while you watch these videos, you should at the end be able to look at a card and recall, oh right, Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades is death card, death is the coffin. And I want to make this easy to learn. I want you to be able to sit down and go through the deck and go, oh, that's this, so that you can more easily become a fluent reader with Palm's Oracle.